Hey, ProNerds, it's me, Iggy, and I'm coming at you on our newest podcast series, Press Play. If you're listening, well, press play to listen, obviously. I messed that all up. What I meant is if you're on the audio feed, press play to listen, right? That would have sounded better. I don't know. Let's ask our guests. We have Leah and Noah. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys. So y'all are joining us in this little sprint run as we celebrate 10, my hands in the view, 10 marvelous years of Project Nerd this month. That's right. March is PN10. We're celebrating 10 years. How excited are y'all about that?
I'm pretty excited. I'm mostly excited for our giveaway that everyone
Oh.
should be hopping on board for.
Oh, look at that. Plug in the brand. Leah doing work.
Beat
There
me
you
to
go.
it, but yeah, 10 years seems insane considering I think I've known about this for 6. So
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, that's insane.
Let's just start there. Let's start there. Noah, you have a very fun story on how you first ever became involved with Project Nerd. Do you remember how all that went down?
Let's see if I get this right. I know Spot Comic Con 2015.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I technically asked another photographer to shadow, and then I'm like, I kind of got started then into, because I was at a rut personally with, I'm like, I want to do photos, but what do I want to do? I like nerd stuff. And then I started Googling, I'm like, what is cosplay and cosplay photography? And then I kind of wound up at Planet Comic Con, I'm like, cool. And then I did more research and I found, Project Nerd because of the massive site and all the articles they do. And then, yeah, I met you guys there and I'm just like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. And you guys are like, cool, go shoot photos. I'm like, cool, sweet.
I think that's a lot of what I think happened too. I some other stuff too. And Leah, you probably haven't heard this story. I got emailed like a month, multiple times leading up to this convention at Planet Comic Con, and I was busy. It was the summer I was moving. Yeah, it was 20. No, God, I think it was 2014, dude. I think you've been around since 2014.
Really?
Was it 2015?
I thought it was 2015. That's when,
Okay. Well, then if it was, it makes more sense because I was moving. That's when I moved out here to Denver. So I was in the middle of moving, middle of convention, and Noah reached out to work with us, and I didn't respond to him right away. So he reached out again, and he reached out again. And then he showed up next to our booth and just waited at our booth until we were ready to talk shop with him, and he was ready to go. And yeah, I think, gosh, photographed at dozens of events with us afterwards.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think
things y'all do.
Start a few in Denver for sure, I know. And then yeah, it was just anytime I was at a convention, I'm like, I can send these to Iggy, and I would just send photos. Just remember, like, oh, Noah's at a con.
There are a ton of Noah Smith images, photos on Project Nerd. That's for sure. If you hit up the cosplay section, and then Leah, your story's a little more fresh, so you probably feel.
I'm pretty new to the whole squad, so
yeah.
And it's not that original. I mean, I met you at work, and you sucked me in with all the cool stuff that you guys do. So I was super excited to come to the events and get working.
We have a tendency to do that, and I'm gonna point out that you're right, that it's not that original. Because let's see, who have we met through work that's involved with Project Nerd?
Your future wife,
my future wife, Erin, Leah. Carrie was a work buddy beforehand. Ryan, who does a lot of our tech stuff and behind the scenes, was a work buddy beforehand. Yeah, there's a good handful of people that got wind of Project Nerd.
Like all the OG members, technically. Were you guys friends first and then work, right? Or
yeah, you're right. You're right. Before we even started Project Nerd, I worked at Best Buy with Adam and
you're gonna
Tyler.
Find a lot of geeks there, so
right. Bob, who was involved for a while, Kanan, who hasn't been involved with the brand for a while. Kanan and his wife Cece, they both used to do a lot of events with us. They were Best Buy alum as well at that store. And in fact, full circle, fun story. We'll probably tell the story a million times as we get ready to announce these things. I think this will air after we announce it. If not, oh well, I'm spoiling it. So we're announcing our new TV show, ePlay, that stars Mike the Quad Luckett. He's one of the co-stars of it. So there's actually two. Isaiah is the other co-host, but Mike has got an interesting story. He's here in Colorado Springs. Fantastic guy, big Twitch partner. He's an adaptive gamer. He helped Xbox develop that the adaptive controller they made. They like flew him out to Seattle and he helped make it, which made me tear up when they premiered that Super Bowl commercial a few years back or whatever. But anyways, that guy worked at Best Buy. In the Best Buy I managed that I worked with all these other guys out, and then I never saw him again for a while. And then here I am in Denver, post divorce, post everything. It's probably 2017, and I'm at an event with other Project Nerd people now too. Sarah, Cosmama, who is she was running her club cosplay. Which Noah, you've been to one of those actually. Yep. You and Sabrina came out that one year, those and so fun. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So I was at one, and this guy stopped me, and he's like, "Are you Iggy that worked at Best Buy in Manhattan, Kansas?" And it was the weirdest thing. It's such a small world, and crazy. Even smaller world is that there's Christy K, who's a big friend of the brand that's down here in Colorado Springs, and she is a cosplayer as well. Yep. Leah, you met her at Colorado Springs this year. Noah, you obviously know her as well. She was his commanding officer in the military when he was stationed at Fort Riley while he was working part-time at that Best Buy.
Wow.
Yeah. Right? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Nerd has the connections everywhere.
We do. And I mentioned, we've said future wives, partners, and all that stuff. Obviously, Noah, your partner, your wife now. Yeah. She worked with us. She wrote for us for many years and even did a podcast with us for a few years.
I still poke her every now and then to try and be like, hey, you get that podcast still thing.
She's got a lot going. You guys have a lot going on. Y'all just bought a house.
Yes.
Right.
First one in the new house, kind of the new office basement.
So. First podcast in the new house, Leah. We get to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, it's hoping to settle down now since we were bored, so we did marriage into holidays, hall mat, and then my brother got married like as we were buying the house. So I just flew out to Palm Springs for his wedding, and then came back and we finished everything on the house, and now we're about done moving officially in. So got everything done. Everything done in like 3 months.
How are you liking home ownership?
So far it's good. Because I still have a maintenance person. I just call my wife and tell her that we need something fixed. This is it.
Takes care of it.
I am not the person. I am the cooking and the cleaning. Well, that's all I got.
That's all right. That's all right. Leah, you're a homeowner too. What is the most annoying homeowner thing you've had to like? What should you warn Noah out for? I remember your Windows story.
Yeah, that was a nightmare. But super fresh as of this weekend. Make sure that you get your main plumbing line inspected either before you buy the house or definitely when you move in, because we went snowboarding this weekend and we came back on Sunday and all of the sewage started backing up through our downstairs toilet and shower because there was a clog and now apparently a break in the main line of our sewer system. So make sure you get all of that checked out before you do any sort of like big purchases or.
I did. We had scoped with like a camera and stuff. And my wife actually was watching the guy do it. And
did you watch it? I watched when they did it for mine. Yeah.
Like the guy just like kept looking over his shoulders, like, do you want to see this? And she's like, yes, so excited. Like, okay, well, not a lot of girls want to see this, but it's fine. Right where the city and ours meet, there's a little like grease or something build up, but otherwise it's completely fine, which is shocking for being like a 63-year-old house. So like it's all good.
That's so lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you not scope it when you bought that house? So you've been there for a couple of years now too, though.
We've been there for a few years, and I don't think that we did. I think we thought we were safe because we don't have any like trees or any really plants on the main sewer line. But no, that's what I will be doing for a little bit tomorrow, is sitting in the tiny crawl space with a guy who is looking at a camera through our sewage line. So
it's pretty
it's going to be really exciting, I think.
It's just amazing how far that camera like it just seems like it keeps going and
goes
going
forever.
Yeah, and you feel like I walk that portion down to the street all the time, and it just feels, but it's at an angle and everything about it. But it's crazy. But when I sold my house in Kansas, when I actually moved out here to Denver, the pipe at that house, we knew it because we bought that house at auction, so there was no like scoping or anything. And the pipe it's interesting because the one pipe, let's see how I can make this work in this new camera view we're doing. The one pipe was here, and then in the yard it kind of like did that, so it was like half of it was going through, so it was like a half filled, so every so often it would start to back up. Luckily it was in an unfinished part of the basement. I don't know, Leah, is yours unfinished or was it finished?
It's pretty finished. Ooh. There's like Rudolph's office is down there, and we have like a bathroom. That's where our old roommate David used to live. So it's pretty unfortunate that is happened, but they unclogged the line, so we can shower and use the toilets again, thankfully. But
right, there's going to be something they find, because that's what they used to do, is come out and unclog that line. And they did it once, and then they came back a year later and were like, you do know something's wrong with this if I have to come back. Like, and I was like, I know, but you're a lot cheaper than fixing it right now.
Right. Well, when he was unclogging it, he pulled it out and there was a bunch of roots and a nice big fat juicy worm. So there's a break in the line somewhere big enough for that little guy to get in and live his fabulous life. So
well, that sounds super fun. Maybe we should.
That's crazy if you say there's no trees or anything nearby and have like roots, like.
And that's why we're worried that the break is like in the street, because we have the neighbor across the street has a massive tree, and if he's pulling up roots, then it might be from their tree, which means their roots are going into the street. But if it's in the street, we have to pay for somebody to come up and tear up all the asphalt.
Isn't that
I thought the city covered it. I thought the city covered that once it hits. No, once it goes past your property line, I thought it becomes the city's.
I don't know. I'm in unincorporated Adams County, so it's
we're not
here.
We're not we're not a property expert, so I guess we really shouldn't.
That would be nice though if we didn't have to at least pay for the portion that they have to dig up for the road.
Right. There's some point where it becomes the whatever municipality's responsibility.
I think we just kind of looked into this. Yeah, it should be. It's right where the property meets the city line. That's as much as you have to pay. So, I mean, if you have example, like a 50-foot yard, you got to pay for all that. But if you got a short yard, you only got to pay for that part. So it's like, if it's the city's job, then they have to come fix it, or it could get your neighbor even if they're the one that kind of.
If it turns out that it's their tree, I'm gonna go knock on their door and be like, you know what? You owe me a lot of freaking money because this is crap.
Bring them cookies though, or fruit pie. Well, that's our homeownership segment.
Yes.
We didn't mean to scare anybody away. It's actually obviously with anything in property, there's a lot of advantages, disadvantages. I would say, especially in most larger cities, which Noah, you're in a large metro as well. But Leah, I know for us, it's more expensive to rent out here now than it is to own. So that alone, I think, makes it worth. I know these things pop up and it's like, because like my heater at any time I need to switch it out, and that's going to be a $5,000 purchase. But at the same time, I'm paying way less than I would be if I was renting something this size, right?
Oh, let me give you
and it's mine
number. He said he could do our water heater for $2,000. So
I meant heater. So I guess
your what is the furnace?
Yeah, it's the furnace. Sorry, the water heater is brand new. They replaced it like 2 or 3 months before I bought this. So, which I say brand new, but it's been the last 2 years. The last 2 years have either been 2 days, 20 years. We don't know, but let's not focus on those 2 years unless something great happened into it. Let's ask you. I got more questions. Right. I got more questions for you. What is the favorite thing you've done with Project Nerd? Leah, you have a short, like you said, it's a little more recent. You've done a few events with us, some podcasts, some TV show stuff. What's the coolest experience you've had so far?
I think my favorite experience so far was definitely at Colorado Springs Comic-Con. It was a pretty unique experience, so I'm told. I got to meet a lot of really awesome celebrities, and I just had a really great time. Like, that was kind of when I first met most of the team and got to know a lot of really cool people. So I got to meet Joey Fatone, which is awesome. So yeah, I think
Our
that's definitely my favorite part so far.
right, our access is definitely at some shows unprecedented, and Colorado Springs is one we have a really great partnership with. Noah, you have a longer track record there, a little bit older shows. What about you? What was your favorite memory of PN?
A lot of it is probably just meeting everyone, hanging out, the project cosplay. Honestly, probably it's one of the smaller Colorado shows, I think, when we did the dance party with Katrina Law. Like, it was a super small show, and she just walked out, and so with blaring music, we just started just dancing, and it was insane. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this. Like, this is perfect.
I would say that was Rocky Mountain Con 2015 or 2016,
that
maybe.
Was very, that was very early. I think that, because also met Belcher there. She was amazing. Like, it is part of that access of just seeing and meeting so many of these people, and it's just honestly, for instance, people, it's everyone, famous, regular, it's so nice, and it's always fun that we're all working on this thing. Like, this is all our side hobbies and things we do in our spare time, and yet we're working on this awesome thing.
I just recorded an episode, Quentin, and a lot of what you said was some of the stuff that was being said there. The people you meet in this, and obviously a lot of people get excited about some of the celebrities and stuff, which many of them end up being cool. But I think some of the long-term friendships and connections I've made, like Leah, a great example. Like we did meet at work. I have moved on from that job, though. I mean, technically, my fiance is still there, so we would kind of hang out some, but maybe not as much. Noah, I would have never met you was it not for Project Nerd. We would have never became good friends.
Right. And that'd be a tragedy.
What's my daughter? My daughter does the little heart thing.
Dude, I found one of the little Apple Post-it notes, like when we were moving. I'm like, that's just not set. That's not just like sitting, but I miss everyone. Like,
I thought I had one over here. I was looking right.
So many out, like the one in one night. I think I got 17. I'm like, okay, I got the Post-it notes.
Love the notes. Yeah, I think the relationships, the connections. You even bring up my daughter, like the way my kids love to be involved within it, and they've connected with, I think, some great people that they've met over the years. It's like an ever-growing family. And Quentin and I made the joke that we have to shut down Project Nerd for a week plus for the wedding, because everybody, if you were involved, you were invited, right? So it's pretty much all hands on deck. So got a week off there, I guess. But
your wedding's actually a Project Nerd reunion. Sorry,
I think it is. We're gonna film some podcasts, film some content there. She's gonna be upset. No. It is. I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting. We're at 10 years. It's exciting. Some of the things we're announcing this year, this very month. By time this airs, we'll have announced our Project Nerd Film Festival taking place here in Boulder, Colorado, in partnership with Colorado Festival Productions. Super cool. Little film festival. We're going to grow it to be big and awesome. I was making the laurels today. Was making the little things to where it says official selection that the filmmakers can take and put on their posters and stuff. We've got Project Nerd Publishing returning. That's pretty significant. I don't think that one's going to have been announced by the time we air this, but now it has. So we've got a bunch of new PN skate gear coming. I think I like our stuff. People seem to enjoy it too.
I do too. Yeah. I got the I got one of the baseball sleeves, and I wear it.
Oh yeah,
as much as I can actually.
Yeah, I love the baseball tees. Erin stole one of mine. I have to get another one now. So she took it over. And I think she just wore it yesterday, actually. But and then, of course, we'll be announcing at the end of this month, at the end of this celebration, updates to what's going on with Project Nerd TV, which is still very much on the radar. A little further down the road, as we've got some, opportunities there and things we're working on to make it even better. But 10 years ago, I started with a blog post on March 20th, 2012. And it's funny because right now I'm hitting my 10-year anniversary mark on Facebook this week with some of my friends, because I started Facebook that March to do social media for Project Nerds. Like I wasn't on Facebook beforehand. So it's the reminder that this all started there. And 10 years ago, I was at Planet Comic-Con when it was in Overland Park. No, it was down in the suburbs. Was our first cosplay gallery from a con on our social media and website was from that event.
Yeah.
Where were you 10 years ago, Noah?
Good question.
10 years ago. 10 years ago. You don't want to know. 2012.
I don't want to know.
College.
I was in college too. I was graduating. About to graduate.
Kids.
Junior year of college. So in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Are you still in Nebraska?
No, I am down in Kansas City now. So
okay.
No.
Children.
Yeah.
I had 2 kids by then already. I was
sucks for you. That's
no, it doesn't. You make that joke. First of all, great kids. Second of all,
I know you have amazing kids.
Evie will graduate high school and I will be 44 years old. I will be an empty nester at 44. I made the right decision when it came to it. Like I'm going to be super young, and it turns out I'm going to have more money at 44 than I had at 24 or something. So like it's gonna work out. Hopefully, I'm hoping that's the case. I still have a handful of years before that gets here, so a lot could go wrong to make it to where I don't have that money. So
let's put it on you.
Go ahead
for a second.
Me,
10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, what did you think this was going to be? Like a part-time, like you were just going to do your nerdy thing on the side and it'd just be you just writing some movie things? Or did you want to be like one of the major sites and have everything? And then finally, is there anything you haven't done yet that you want to expand into?
You got some great questions there. I think 10 years ago, the thing is Project Nerd has evolved with the way we use the internet and get entertainment has evolved. So there's no way I envisioned it to be where it is now 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
What had happened is I was working. I think we kind of brought it up. I was the Best Buy. I was at retail. Now I had a daughter. My son just started kindergarten and worked that last holiday shift or holiday season through retail management. And when you're management and you're exempt, you're there all the time because they don't have to pay you overtime. And I was like, I can't do this with kids. Like I can't, and Orion wasn't in school. He could do my schedule with me. So if I was off on a Tuesday, he could be off on a Tuesday, and it just changed everything. So it changed my career path to something that honestly was a lot simpler. I was cold calling. Yeah. And since we already had Project Blue going with a couple other people I knew at the time, and they were all starting to peel off and it wasn't getting taken care of. And it was I had slowly inherited it wholly. I was like, I want to do more. So I actually applied for another geek blog and they turned me down. So I was like, I applied to just blog posts for them at I think it was 25 cents a word. It was something and they turned me down. And so a couple weeks later, I just started my own blog.
Yeah. And that's not like so we get this right, Blockbuster and Redbox,
Netflix.
Netflix, you could have had us. You could have had it. No, you passed it. You passed a good opportunity.
Right. Yeah. For those not aware, Blockbuster had the chance to buy Netflix, and the leadership.
It wasn't.
Yeah, and leadership turned it down because they just didn't see a future in that industry. And it's that short-sightedness that definitely helped Blockbuster make it all these years, right? So
there's still one left.
There's one last one.
Which, since we're throwing it back, Redbox and everything, we used to have to mail CDs back, we mailed CDs or the DVDs back and forth. That was what they were. And now
then you had to wait.
Yeah, we had to wait, and everyone waited. We're like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Or when they had 31 title, and cool, it'll be another day or two. That's what that was, and now it's all online, which is.
What won't make you wait for mailing titles back and forth?
What?
Project Nerd TV when it's here. That's right. That's right. and to answer more of your questions, so that was how it started. And I think, did I see it here? I kind of answered that already. No. Have I done everything we wanted to do? So big things I have done, which Noah, you know the background of this too. Ever since I was a little kid, and a lot of our podcast listeners have gotten familiar with this story too. I wanted to make comics since I was like a 9-year-old or so. So we used that with Project Nerd Publishing, which again, we're going to revamp. We're bringing some of those titles back out. So that was a huge, to me, personal accomplishment thing. Especially holding my book, the one that I wrote and created in my hands, was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was a major moment for you. Like, you were super happy for like that entire period. Like, you just kept making things from like, that's what you wanted to do there.
I have so many more written, and that was part of why we're bringing it back. Like, to be fully transparent there, as I've sat there with Erin, her and I have sat here and talked about some of the things, and it's like, I want to do all these things. I can't. I overextend myself all the time. But what are some things that what are some things I've already done that just aren't completed? And it's like, well, if I have money, I can pay artists to draw these things that I've already written. So I've already done my part of the work on them, right? So obviously there's a lot more work to it in getting it out there, but more to come on that for our listeners. And so there's a lot of stories I've written that haven't made it out that I'm really excited to possibly resurface those. The one thing I think I want to do more of that we've started doing is we've really started increasing our production, what we're doing as a production company, as producers ourselves, as directors. We just funded 2 comedy specials. So we're going to have 2 comedy specials under the Project Nerd production umbrella, which is really exciting as a producer. But I want to make a feature-length documentary, and I want to make an impactful one. And I know Leah you've talked about a lot of short films that we want to make under it. So I think
that are written,
right. I think that's that next step in terms of what we're thinking. It's that production, whether it be the content we're producing at events, which is growing as well, or the content and how we're producing it in studio. I think that's really where we're evolving. And that's what I want to do. But my problem has always been, I want to create everything and anything and all things at once. So I want us to push out lines of apparel and make cool stuff like that. I want to make comics. I want to produce this. I want to make podcasts. I want to go to events and do, I want to blog and I want to get political about stuff and do those types of things. Like, it's all at once. While also doing the graphic design stuff and all that, right? So we've had to rope that in over the last few months on me. Some people have had to lasso me up and bring me back in. But we still have a big, I think not only next year ahead, but I think a big next decade ahead. When we come back together and do this for PN20, we're probably going to be we'll be all in our hover chairs, right? Like in was that Wall-E?
Wall-E.
Hoping so. And something here.
Talking we'll all be Russian citizens, so it'll be fine.
Right.
That's a terrible joke. Sorry.
Noah, what do you want Project Nerd to do? What do you think we still have to accomplish?
I think that's the issue. I mean, I'll give you kind of 2 answers. There's not a lot we're not doing, really. Like, it's like we have apparel. Like, can we do more? Of course we can do more. We're doing, interview shows. Like, we're doing all that. We're doing everything, and we can always do more. But I don't know where, kind of what I want you guys to see more of. Like, on a whole small side, and I've been bugging you for probably 4 or 5 years. The Project Nerd kitchen.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that I was always bugging you about that. I think you did one thing, and then I'm like, hey, can we do more? Can we do more of this? And you're like,
the
no.
Cosplay Kitchen we did an episode of. Yep. We had the cosplay cookbook we were trying to do.
Yep.
And then we have done we filmed our entire first season of Let's Eat already. That needs to get out there. So it's a cooking, just kind of general geek show. So some exciting stuff for you to see.
Yes.
And possibly be involved with in the future too. But I think I think some of those things could come back. I thought you were going to bringing Project Cosplay back.
I mean, I could, and I'd always support it, but I know how crazy it is, like that weekend to plan it and then you execute it.
As a newbie, what is Project Cosplay? Because I have no idea what that is.
It was
we had an all cosplay event, like an all weekend. So it's basically take Comic-Con and remove the con part out of it. So all the cosplayers showed up, and instead of like there being booths set up in a floor, it was all rooms and themed areas and stuff, and then photographers and cosplayers there.
Yep, that's it.
So the concept was that cosplayers bring as many costumes as you want. You pay I think it was $35 is how much we charged for 2.5 days. And we've got 6 or 7 photographers on site, and they just shoot all weekend. And you've got all these galleries, and anything that was shot at the convention for them paying to come was at least web resolution, was like it'll be pushed out there, you'll get photos of it, and then they could organize like offsite shoots or shoots on the side, or paying for high res images to prints and stuff. So it kind of just gave them that experience, because we talked about being such a part of the cosplay community. Cosplayers love cons, right? I don't want to make it sound like throwing anybody on the bus, but there's oftentimes they'll debut that big. Night Mage is a perfect example. When he debuted that the Spawn with the giant wings, so the Spawn Angel, and he had these giant wings where he glued like hundreds and hundreds of feathers to these wings, and from the hotel at C2E2 to the front of the McCormick place, the hall that it's in, what would you say, Noah? Typically a 10-15 minute walk from that main hotel like lobby to there. It took him almost 3 hours because he got stopped so much. And that was kind of the idea, was like still have that experience, but now also bring that costume here to where you just have photographers that are going to take these photos and edit it and pose you, and you've got themes, and you're not going to get stopped every 2 seconds for a group photo or stuff like that. But that's what Project Cosplay was. Noah was involved, photographer side, for both those years.
It was insane.
Second year, Sabrina brought out like 13, 14 costumes.
No. Both years she brought like 20 plus cosplays in a single weekend. Like,
she was changing like every hour to 2.
And like it's one of the things where it's because there were a lot of the photographers, and then the people, they organized different shoots that day. So there was a DC shoot, there was My Little Pony, the DC Bombshells group, a lot of different categories and everything. So that's where it kind of that motivated a lot of people to be like, okay, cool, I can wear this day, this day. And yeah, I think the average person probably, they did a few. Sabrina's not average. She did like 20 some in a weekend, but she had everything there. She did all the changes, and she did the work.
It was fun. It was interesting. If I'm getting really, I'm gonna get really we're celebrating PN10. It's time to put it all out there. That second Project Cosplay was hard for me, and I was a wreck. I had still technically not. I had put the deposit down on my apartment to move out of after my split with my ex-wife, but I was still living there. Yeah. And then the weekend of, my son ended up, or the week leading up to it, he ended up in the hospital. And it was just, I was an emotional wreck and had to put my game face on. And the one night that I was out there with I don't remember it outside of photos, because I washed it all away. That's for sure. But it was fun, and we would like to bring it back. There's some conversation, see how well this film festival goes, if we can get back into the running events. I remember
the first year, we got there and everything, and somebody asked you, we were like, it's like, and you're like, so Iggy, are we good? And you're just like, you had one drink and you already, and you were just kicked off your shoes in the middle of the first hotel lobby. You're like, don't care, we're here, paid for, done. No.
Sounds like me for sure.
I was because again, it's a lot of the event. Yeah, it was only those few days, but you made the event for weeks and months before. So it's that a lot of the buildup. A lot of people only see the few days. Oh yeah, this was stressful. No, we had to plan it. You got all the rooms. You were a con organizer for all intents and purposes. You had everything good, everything settled. So
it was. I don't envy the convention organizers. It's a lot of work though. But
we had massive teams.
Right. Leah, what do you think? What do you think Project Nerd has in the immediate future should accomplish, should do?
I'm really excited for all our new production challenges. Like you said, we recorded and pumped out a whole season of Let's Eat. I think we spent 2 days at that Airbnb, and I know that we can do that, but on a much bigger scale. So I'm really excited for us to be able to like get our feet wet with producing new TV shows and hopefully some new short films. So, and also like the film festival that's coming up, that's going to be really awesome. I don't know if we know yet if we are going to be able to have like a Project Nerd Award or our own category, but getting into that would be super cool as well.
We do have our own.
Yes.
I sent you the invite for the back end for the review stuff.
I saw that.
But we
Now I
do
have
one
so
of the
many films to review.
one of the awards is yeah, because we're both on the programming team for Tallgrass too. One of the awards is the Project Nerd award winner, or Project Nerd Award, and it's chosen by Project Nerd leadership. There's the just the what is the grand prize, so that's picked by all the Project Nerd staff and Colorado Festival production staff that has access to be involved. And then we obviously have our categories like our best feature, best short, best animated. We have I saw they didn't have it originally listed. I added it back here, but let's see. They had the previously had done for this, because it used to be the Boulder Film and Brew Festival. So that the Colorado Craft Cinema Award, and it was meant for the Colorado filmmaker who spotlighted something Colorado, right? And so I put that back on the list too. I think that will be cool as a little thing. So yeah, we got a lot of say, and you get to help pick programming, and being that we're in a little more control of this festival, you get to have a more sway of instead of just rating them, you get to kind of say too what you want to there. But no, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for our production. I'm excited for our events, not just our own event, but this year at Tallgrass, we produced their red carpet show last year. We're working on their award show this year. We were just at Pensacon with big things to come next year for that. A handful of conventions that I can't quite announce yet that I'm so excited about, that we're going to have either small teams at, large teams at, a lot more involvement. We have some other partnerships developing behind the scenes with brands that are out there that want our content in places and to do things with us too. So year 10, it's going to be super exciting. And I think it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, which means we always, I think Quentin mentioned this on the last one we recorded, if you see you have that want to be a part of it. You heard Noah's story, you heard Leah's story. Like we want creative people, we want driven people, we want geeky people. Come out here, and we're always adding to the team and growing those that adding those that can contribute and be a part of this, because that's exactly what Project Nerd is. It's a collaboration. It is a project where we continue to evolve and collaborate and build with other brands, with people, with internally, externally. It's just fun.
So I'm going to guess currently at the current stage, it's probably where we have the most people we have ever involved right now. Right?
No.
Oh,
no. So I think at the height, you have to think too, because we used to have a writers. We've really kind of turned away from the blog.
Yeah.
And so when we had the height of the blog, right ahead of that 2015, 2016 time, probably where we were seeing the most site traffic, we were building revenue and stuff before we had to kind of take a pause and focus on just some of the smaller things, partly because of the personal things. I've been open now about that too. And I would say, we had like 25 plus writers, and we had over a dozen podcasts on the network at that time too. And we were doing I think that's right where we started really building the larger events teams, because we had so much more to do with the events and moderating panels and stuff. So from a capacity of sharing a meme every once in a while to being involved in production to being part, we're somewhere around 40 people right now that are a part of this collaboration. And to get to 10 years, the 40 that are there now to the hundreds that were there before, whether it was somebody who just wrote once a month or shared some memes in a group, or is involved in production, took photos at events, and went to events for us even, and other things. A couple people that put just hours upon hours behind the scenes. every single person has made it possible to get us to where we are here. Because the one thing you said, Noah, you asked earlier is, did I see us here we are? I don't think I ever looked ahead far enough to see if we were going to let alone if we would even be in 10 years.
Yeah.
And we did hit that bump, like you kind of just brought up, where I had a lot of personal things going on. We really focused on publishing and kind of let the rest of the stuff go. And that could have changed everything. And instead, here we are, I think, bigger and better than we ever have been.
Yeah, no, I think that like rejuvenated us, and we just like, okay, well, we dropped something, but we're going to pick it up, but we're also going to continue doing what we were doing before. Like, we're going to pick it all up at once, because you don't have just two hands, Iggy. You have like 30. You're like, yeah, let's do all the projects, and I don't want any of them to drop the ball on. Like, no one could drop the ball on all these projects. Let's go.
It's a blessing and a curse. No, it is because I crack sometimes behind the scenes on it. I will say this year, and we're getting pretty straightforward and transparent here. Look at this, we're pulling it out. I think a big thing is the TV app is a great example. We could have still launched this month. We have some great content. A lot of it we never even got around to announcing. But I think that was part of it. I think we had a lot to still announce. We had a lot of conversations still going on. We had now other people behind the scenes that were interested in talking more. And it was easier to say, where I have done so notoriously in the past, just be like, let's just for us to say, hold up a second. Like, so what if this doesn't look like the prettiest shift to do this right ahead of the anniversary? Let's take a step back and get all these pieces, I think, even better aligned and push us back a little further out. Let's not rush it. Let's perfect it instead. And I don't want to say we've rushed other stuff, but it's exactly, if we're juggling 30 balls, trying to launch a TV app right now while about to do all this PN10 celebration. And then obviously we mentioned that very important thing coming up in my life, that wedding I might want to put some focus into.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
We got to drop it down to 20 balls. How's that work? That's where we'll go. So
for you, that's the best we're going to get probably. So
yeah, that's the lowest. I can't slow it down any further. I can't slow it. I think though there's a lot of those personalities that are here, and that's why we have a lot of people like you, Noah, who also have your own kind of thing going on too.
Yeah,
because we have a lot of just driven, creative people who want to create, and that's that's what I am. I want to create, and I want to be surrounded by other creators too. And I feel like that's when you talk to anybody with Project Nerd, I feel like that's the personality you pick up from those people. Whether they have their own thing going on, like I said, whether they contribute huge or small, it's that idea of I want to create something. I'm a creative type, and I want to be around other creative people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I've been with you for 5 some years and everything. It's been back and forth. It's been, my personal life, I dipped down, but going forward, I know I want to do more. Like, I'm ready to pick up some more of it. So I know I'm ready to do more and help drive it forward for another 10 years. So
I got that on recording. I'm going to hold you to it.
I mean, come on. I'm in a home. I'm either fixing things or not doing anything, because I'm broke already. So
like, you bought a house. No, that totally get that. I totally get that.
I'm staying inside the house and that's it. I'm not going outside. No.
Right. No, I appreciate that. And again, too, that's the personalities that I think is going to drive us forward even further. And I think there's a lot more players that are going to come into play here. I'm looking at you, listener. Awesome. No, that's great. I think we've covered some pretty solid topics here as we've talked PN10. Some pretty exciting things, some pretty honest things, some pretty forward things about home ownership as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you? When's your housewarming party, Noah? When you inviting us all out to Kansas City to?
Whenever you want to get here, pretty much. It's going to be an open invitation. So
awesome.
Are you in Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri?
We are back in Kansas City, Missouri. So
you're back on the Missouri side now. After
and I say like, oh yeah, it's such a long way. The border's like 10 minutes from us, so it's not that far. But no, we just got back over here. Found a good school district, good place and everything. We found solid spot. So, and yes, we can do parties. We got a monster of a backyard. So,
looking forward to it. You did it for a while there, serve as my Airbnb. So,
and you did our section too.
Yes, yeah. There's still space here. We'll get back to it. I know you gotta get that savings account back to something. So we'll get back to it though. There's plenty of conventions ahead to where we'll run into each other and we can crash at each other's place. But let's close with that. Let's ask the question. Leah, you've had a couple stops and we didn't really get to explore the food as much. But Noah, you know how I am about when we go to conventions.
Yep.
We gotta eat. We gotta eat. What's your favorite spot y'all have hit up for conventions? And Noah, maybe even without us, but
dude. You can't put that on me. You can't put that on me. Like,
okay. Well, while you're thinking,
so much, it all hits differently.
Right. Okay. Think on it for a second. Okay. Leah, you had we went to Wichita for Tallgrass, Colorado Springs.
The best meal we had was definitely at Tucano's, the Brazilian steakhouse in Colorado Springs. I know you can't have gluten anymore, so we're very limited in our future food stuff.
Tucano still works.
That was perfect. Yeah.
That's just a bunch of
amazing. Meat. Yeah, it's just literally I got the meat sweats.
Noah, we gotta get you and Sabrina out to Colorado Springs Comic-Con at some point because it's always right around my birthday weekend. So we usually go set up on Thursday.
That's
and
dangerous.
Friday doesn't start till afternoon. We hit up that Brazilian steakhouse on Thursday night and just make ourselves miserable. It is a fantastic experience. Did you think of one, Noah? Did you think of a place?
No, I can't think of one. But how do you pick between Q39, which is some awesome barbecue, to
Kansas City,
Giordano's in Chicago, like to every con we go to, there's always something else, like
Carbone, those tacos in Chicago too. Sneak over to literally under the South Loop Highway in Chinatown.
But I don't have Gallo showing me all these like secret spots.
Right.
Like that's cheating almost. I mean, have you not just gone straight to beignets? Like,
see, I can't anymore. Jazz, even though it was a technically a chain, they had 3 or 4 locations in a couple metros. Some of the best New Orleans food I've had outside of New Orleans. I'm trying to think of all the different spots I've gone to. San Diego, there was this like little hole in the wall burrito place that we walked past on the way to the convention center, and we saw no convention goers in there, just a bunch of construction workers, and we're like,
that's real.
That's how you know.
We know exactly.
Nice.
So we went in there, and those burritos were fantastic. And I think, Kansas City, obviously Q39 and KC Joe's we do every time we're out there. Yep. Omaha was Jazz, was the with the beignets. I think I got 15 beignets down that one year. That was
oh my gosh.
It's probably why I have a gluten tolerance now. Like
just all backing up inside.
I know
it's the pipes. It's the pipes at y'all's house is what the gluten looks like inside me there. Destroyed
Well, I know Omaha also has what's that? It's that gas station themed restaurant, and they do the super
the wings and stuff. Yeah.
Super tall beers. I know. I went there, I got a drink, and then Nightmare and Sabrina, I got like the 52-ounce like giant like tube
of beer.
Yes, and I'm just like, okay, you guys go. Of course, Nightmare doesn't blink, Sabrina doesn't blink, like done. Like I think I ended up with like half a glass. I'm like, okay, I'll just finish this for you, let it get.
Right. The drive to Chicago too. Even though we haven't done a con there, you have Zombie Burger. In Des Moines, Iowa.
Yes.
Which Leah, it's got the walking shed. Is it so everything's zombie themed and everything's zombie named, and the walking shed has 2 deep fried like patties of macaroni and cheese that are made to be the buns.
Wow.
Then you have a bacon cheeseburger in between those buns with more mac and cheese poured on top of it.
It sounds like a burger I had this weekend. No mac and cheese, but it had 2 full deep fried jalapenos and then like a ton of like onion ring strips on top of a cheeseburger. It was amazing. I love deep fried things.
Yes, I miss deep fried things. But
because in the same town, there's a place called Fong's.
Chinese food pizza.
You know what it is. Yes. And it's
Des Moines. It's all in Des Moines too. It's so weird that those two places.
I'm like, I would drive up for Sean's Pizza, and I think I tried the one that like they kind of got viral for the crepe rangoon. Not my favorite, but the Mongolian beef pizza.
The General Tso's pizza too is pretty solid. It's so Leah, it's a pizza restaurant, but it's a Chinese food restaurant. So anything you would normally get at a Chinese food place, they serve it on a pizza.
Also, it's a place.
Yeah,
drinks.
It sounds ridiculous, but it is delicious. Yeah, it's fantastic. When we drive up to Chicago, we try to hit one. So we time it to where we'd get to lunch there, so we could hit up Zombie Burger, and then on the way back, we could hit lunch on the and hit up. So, but that's it. Reminiscing about food. For those of you that have known us, maybe those of you that are on our team and listening in or watching, feel free to chime in on the comments. Some of the favorite food places you've eaten, some of your favorite Project Nerd memories, people you've met, things you want us to do. We love you being here. I mentioned all the people that are involved have gotten us here to 10 years. How about all you fantastic listeners? This very podcast feed for those of you tuning in the audio, we broke the top 250 in entertainment category on Apple Podcasts in 2021. Mind blown. Thank you, people, for listening. And we've been inconsistent on this feed, and you still tune in. So now we're going to give you more content, more consistent content, and we're super excited about it. The last word we'll bring back to the audio feed. Obviously, press play. The news break will continue. But also, if you're listening, there's a lot more going on. Our beautiful faces are all over those YouTubes. Head on over to projectnerd.com. That's project-nerd.com. Where we'll post all the obviously video content, or over to YouTube and just search for Project Nerd and find this. Well, if you're not watching, you can't find this logo that I'm pointing at on my hat. I just realized the flaws in that statement. But anyways, look for our brand. You know our brand. Find us there. Watch our stuff. Comment there too. Check out all the other cool web series we have going on. But I think right now more than ever, you need to head to projectnerd.com because Leah, you brought up. Yep. Somewhere around here, we either just did or we're about to or whatever. If you sign up for our newsletter, you have a chance to win an Xbox Series S or one of 10 people to win a Roku Express. We're giving away some other games as well. We have crazy announcements, 3 new TV shows announcements. We already teased GE Play on here. We talked about the film festival. We talked about the return of publishing, the updates on PNTV, new PN Skate gear. Yeah, I teased it to you, but you can't see it unless you go over to Project Nerd. Anyways, projectnerd.com. And if you are already checking us out on YouTube, make sure you're liking, subscribing, turning on those notifications so you know when we post more great videos. And we want to hear from you. Even if you want to tell us, well, no, just tell us nice things. Don't tell us mean things. Just tell us nice things. Mean things. Or constructive. We can take constructive. But anyways, leave a comment too. We'd love to hear what you've thought about Project Nerd over the first 10 years and what you'd like to see from Press Play, which since it's new, let's talk about it. Press Play is replacing the Nerdcast as our flagship series. Why? Well, the Nerdcast I mentioned the inconsistencies. It's hard. One of our hosts is in Europe. Like, it's hard to get on the same time period, right? Of that. And Press Play, I think, open us up to a whole new world of possibilities. It can be anything. We can talk this anniversary stuff. We can talk nerd, geek, pop culture. We can go see the Batman next weekend and watch it and talk about it. Or we can even talk politics and social stuff and all that, because Press Play is just open for whatever guest, whatever hosts and Project Nerd personalities are on it, wherever the conversation takes us. You just have to press play to listen or watch. But that's it. Leah, Noah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me for part of our PN10 celebration.
Thank you for bringing us together.
I feel honored to be here. So
I feel honored that y'all joined us. So PN10, 10 years. Let's plan on getting together and for PN12. We'll talk before that too. But let's also make a statement now. We're going to do another episode with the 3 of us for PN20.
Sounds good.
But you know what happens at the end of Press Play? Everybody can go ahead and press stop. Bye, everybody.